Hi, everyone. I want you guys to take a nice deep breath for me, okay? That feels good, right? Well, I can't do that. So, let me teach you guys about something that I have to use every day. I have something called a tracheostomy tube, and it helps me breathe sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And I want to show you guys me, my most vulnerable state. In this trach tube is located underneath my vocal cords. So that's how I'm able to speak with you. I want you guys to pinch your nose and close your mouth really tight. Try to hum. You can't, right? That's because air isn't passing through your vocal cords for them to vibrate and to give you a voice. For me, I don't have the trach tube that's cuffed, so I can speak. In 2018, I was diagnosed with something called Guillain-Barré syndrome. So I had partial paralysis of my arms, my legs, and unfortunately my diaphragm. My motor nervous system is completely shut down. The doctors, they did test after test, spinal taps, nerve tests, couldn't find the disease, couldn't find the cure. So I was stuck like this. I spent 4 months in bed, laying there. You know, if I had an itch on my face, I had to think really hard to make it go away. But then I just thought, I just really want to get home. I thought I could go home and everything would be fine. So I rehabilitated to an extent. I made it home. I made it back in the bed, but it was just a hospital bed next to a fireplace. And I was like, okay, things will start to look up from here. I was wrong. That was when the real life started hitting me. So I tried looking for community. I went to different speeches and to different forums. I even tried volunteering. But the answers that I learned from the most were what I found within myself. And I didn't get there until I started to look at my weaknesses. Not only physical, but mental too. So I learned how to adapt. And I believe all of us could adapt. We have ways to make our lives more efficient, big or small. It could still be meaningful. So, if you're a forgetful person and you lose your keys easily, you can try putting a hook by your door. Or you can even get those Apple AirTags to help you locate it, right? But also, you can choose if and when you want your weakness to work for the moment. I find myself very uncomfortable in social situations. Look, I'm not loud, I'm very soft-spoken, and I have to be honest, my social skills kind of deteriorated. So, what could I do? I learned to respect the power of choice. You can choose if you want to challenge or evade your weakness in that moment. So, adopting weakness over time changes them into strengths. Think about it. If you can look at your weaknesses and work on why you've been avoiding or why you choose not to pay attention to them, you're going to learn more about yourself. My disability kind of forced me to learn about my weaknesses. It pushed me to learn about not only physically where I was incapable of, but mentally. So, what do I want to tell you? Always think creatively with any weakness. For me, physically, I had to think outside the box. I use a laptop desk to lift my plate for my food. I use a little office storage box right by my sink so I could brush my teeth. But if at large, I wanted to get back to things that I missed in my life, so I asked for help from those around me. I asked my family, hey, is it possible for me to ride a bike? And my mom was like, no, that's dangerous. You can't ride a two-wheeled bike. So what did we do? We bought a tricycle. And I know a tricycle for a 23-year-old is, reverting back to my childhood ways, but it's okay. Do you know how good it felt to be able to move myself again? It's not driving, but I got from point A to point B by myself I felt a sense of independence again and freedom. Also, I know that I like to go be outdoors, but let's be honest, hiking trails and a wheelchair, it's not a good mix. My mom researched wheelchair accessible hiking paths so that I can still join my family. So we went to Zion, we went to Whitney Mountains, and my mom even found a way to see a waterfall from the parking lot, a natural waterfall. It was crazy. But I think where I struggled the most, and this is where I really learned more about myself, was where did I weak? Where was I weak, and how was my weak coping mechanisms affecting my mental health? I didn't really think much of it. I thought I could use my strengths to bring me to the finish line, like my time management skills, or my ability to, work really hard to go after what I want. But I started taking out my frustrations on those around me. Since I lost my independence, I was grieving this old part of myself that I thought would never come back. And it wasn't kind, especially to my family, They're trying to help my life while trying to live theirs. So I had to take a real look in the mirror and find, what was wrong with me, right? I think I hated the fact that my recovery process was so slow. Nerves regenerate at a speed of 1 millimeter a day. That's the size of the lead of a number 2 lead pencil. That's really small. So if we have 37 miles of nerves in our bodies, and this is just like a rough estimate, and granted, not all 37 miles are paralyzed. I could still move some stuff. How long would that take? So if you make 37 miles and make that into millimeters, it's 60 million. Multiply that by the rate, and what do you get? It's a long time. Now, that's a long road ahead of me. And so many doctors told me, Charisma, you're in for the marathon of your life. You know how much I hate cardio? I don't want to be running for the rest of my life. I want to live with peace, So what did I learn? My therapist told me to be mindful. You're going to be facing challenges at home, at school, with your family, with your friends. The best way for you to find peace is to find it within yourself. Manage your conflict on an interpersonal level. If you can find a way not to take it out on others, you can save yourself from damaging the relationships in your life. I look at my mom. I love her with all my heart. She sacrificed her entire life just so I can get parts of mine back. And I want her to know that I understand when she gets caregiver burnout. Her hurt shouldn't be taken to heart. It's just pain from grief. And there's still acts of love. It's just disguised as fatigue. But what about the stares, Charisma? People stare at you, right? Trust me, they stare. And I used to get really mad. But let me tell you a story. One time, at an Ariana Grande concert, right? I was sitting down, and a lady was staring at me. And I looked at her, I was like, what are you looking at? What, you've never seen a trach before? And you know what ended up happening? She showed me her trach scar too. And I was in the wrong. I was rude. I wasn't mindful in that situation that everyone has their own stories, that we don't tell everyone. And if in that moment I could remember to be mindful, then I can connect with that person. And if it's just one person that they see me as relatable to someone in their life, then I'm okay with the rest of the stares. So over the past 4 years of living as a disabled woman, I was asking myself, okay, I'm not on the original 10-year plan of my high school plan, go to college, graduate, get married, pop out kids. That dream out the door. Now I was on my journey to find a new purpose. And I learned that time is never wasted if you find intention in all that you do. It can be small, but it's just as meaningful. I learned how to crochet with my best friend, and that, helped me with the quality of our friendship. I'm learning a new language, and I always try to enjoy the moments that I spend with my family, with or without the camera. So, I love that I'm sharing my story of weakness with you all, because within my story of weakness, I found so much strength. And my strength is also my family's. Without them, I wouldn't be here. And I'm so happy my soul remains on this earth. I would hate to leave my mom, my dad, and my sisters with an empty seat at the dinner table. I want to show them that I still have purpose in this world, and I'm going to assure them that I have much more to give. So, remember that deep breath we did earlier? Hold on to that breath, okay? Promise me when you walk out of here, you're going to cherish your life. Go out, learn something new, try new food, enjoy the sky, The world's our oyster. Be creative, be introspective, be intentional, and learn from your weaknesses. You never know the strength of your hidden potential. Thank you.